To talk about his upcoming performance here in Brockville, I'm talking with Jeremy Fisher, and he is coming here through the Ontario Festival of Small Halls. That's an interesting venue. Is the Ontario Festival of Small Halls. There's so many interesting individuals that are coming to our area, and I can't get over it. I mean, Jeremy, like, whoa, when are you coming? When are you coming?
It's a wonderful event. Well, I'm going to be there on October 21st, along with my friends in the band Elliott BROOD. And so that's the date of our show, but there's several shows happening the month of October, and a whole bunch of different artists coming. And I've been involved in it before, but I've never done it in Brockville. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I'm glad you are, because we're looking forward to having you. So what can we expect when you are on stage at the St. John's United Church?
Well, I've had a little bit of time over the last couple of years to revamp and work on my show. So I'm very excited to tell you that I'm going to be bringing a few different instruments with me. I'll be bringing my acoustic guitar, my harmonicas. I've got a little stomp box that, gets the beat going. I've got a little sampler and a keyboard where I can kind of build up tracks. So I'm going to be doing a lot of storytelling, playing a lot of acoustic guitar. But there's going to be moments where, I'm going to build up. I'm going to jam with myself.
You're going to jam with yourself. That's a good way of putting
it. So that's what I'll be bringing. And Elliott BROOD are, if you've never seen them before, they do a very folk-driven kind of stompy, danceable type of kind of alternative folk music, and they're amazing, and I've played a bunch with them before, and so if you've never heard them, you're gonna love them.
So is this like toe tapping when the music's playing and you're sitting in the audience, you're moving around, and
I try to keep it toe tapping the whole time. I have maybe 1 to 3 songs, depending on how long my set is, where I kind of I bring it down a little bit, tell a little story, and then you got to have somewhere to build back up to.
Well,
right?
I guess. So how many instruments do you actually play?
Well, I would say more than 10, less than 20, but I don't have an actual count on it. I'm in my backyard studio in Ottawa here, and I'm surrounded by them. Mm-hmm. I'm like a jack of all trades, master of none, I would say. I love learning, and so every new instrument is an opportunity to learn, and it changes the way I think about music and the way I write music. So that's what I love about different instruments.
So if I said to you, what would you refer to yourself as? I know you write songs. I know you sing. So would you be referred to as like a folk singer-songwriter, or what do you call yourself?
Well, I struggle with it because I feel like I do a bunch of different things depending on the show and the audience. So I don't love the term, but I've used it before, is just entertainer. I mean,
I like it. Yes.
I come from my grandfather, my mom's side of the family all comes from Newfoundland. My grandfather had a band, and he toured all over Newfoundland in the 50s and 60s, playing with his orchestra, playing his accordion, playing piano. And, he was just a life of the party kind of guy. If there was a piano, he was going to sit down and entertain people with it. And I think those genes were passed on to me. I just love, sussing out the vibe in a room and trying to figure out how to add to it and entertain. And sometimes that means a lot of storytelling. Sometimes that means a lot of music. Sometimes that means a dance party. And it's really important to me to find the moment and get in the middle of it.
Talking about what you do, I read your bio, and you've created the CBC Kids animated show, Jeremy and Jazzy. Where did that come from? Where did you get the inspiration to come up with a show?
I'll try and give you the Cole's notes on that. 6 years ago had my first daughter. I now have 2 kids, a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. And I made, as a little side project, I made an album called Highway to Spell under the name Jeremy Fisher Jr. And I was just going to put that out and then move on to my next project. And I started getting requests from teachers to come and play at schools, and then festivals started inviting me to come and play the children's stage. And I discovered that I really loved family audience, and I loved playing the songs. And I was writing a lot of songs because, you know, I've always followed the write what you know school of songwriting. And I had two little kids at home, so I'm just writing about family life. And I partnered with a company called Verite Films in Toronto. They do Corner Gas and Corner Gas Animated. And we developed this show together over the last 4 years. We started working on it, then the pandemic hit and all my gigs were gone. So I devoted all my time to it, and I wrote 50 songs, more than 50 songs that we've now turned into animated shorts. And I star in it as Jeremy, along with my co-star, whose name is Eza Niberakure. She voices Jazzy. And we've made tons of music, and now you can watch it on CBC Kids or CBC Gem. And it's, you know, it sounds like it was a snap of the fingers to make it. It took a big team of people to animate and everything, but it's really lovely. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of being part of this thing that, you know, is there for my kids and other families like mine to enjoy.
You're sharing, and that's very noble. It's very nice that you're sharing that. So where does this inspiration come for you to write?
It just comes from daily life. I mean, one of the things I love about writing family music is that we had our daughters here home doing virtual school and out of daycare for the better part of 2 years. And so I was full-time parenting and full-time making this TV show. So I was literally, you know, cutting up an apple, getting some crackers and cheese, giving it to the kids. And then I know, okay, I got 10 minutes. I got my laptop at the kitchen counter, my little child-sized guitar that hangs on the wall in the kitchen, and, you know, write a little verse. And so it can just be, you know, writing about butterflies and how caterpillars become butterflies or whatever we're talking about in the house. So it's really just taking little snapshots of family life and distilling it into these little 2-minute songs that are catchy and singable and fun.
Good for you. Good for you. So you wrote the Tetris Song?
I did write one called the Tetris Song. Yeah.
Who was that about?
That's about my partner, who's
Jazzy?
Yeah, no, not Jazzy. No, my life partner.
Oh, your life partner. Okay.
Who is a scientist who works for the federal government, and I wrote her that song. It was a little love song, you know, comparing the infatuation to the infatuation with the game Tetris. You know, I don't know if you've ever played Tetris or been addicted to it, but I used to, when I was flying a lot, I had Tetris on my phone, and it was just those back when you couldn't, you know, well, you can't have your data enabled when you're sitting on the plane waiting to take off. That's when I would play Tetris. And anyway, and then when you play so much, you just see blocks everywhere in life. You're just constantly thinking about how you could fit blocks together. Anyway, I compare that in that song to, you know, the infatuation period in a relationship. Happy to report that relationship's still going strong, and we're raising these kids
I'm
together.
glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Do you have a favorite singer-songwriter? Do you have a favorite?
I don't have a favorite currently, but I always think back to, you know, early days, because when I was a teenager and just starting out playing, I was very, very, you know, intensely into two artists that seem sort of incongruent: Paul Simon and AC/DC. Those were my two biggest influences as a teenager. And I still listen to quite a bit of Paul Simon. Not so much AC/DC, but I love it when it comes on. And so they were favorites of mine in formative years. Now, I'm very with the advent of streaming, and I'm much more adventurous with my listening, and I just get into, right now, to be honest with you, I'm into a lot of like dancey pop music because that's what my kids and I put on when we have a dance party on Friday night before bed, but I also like probably the last thing that I listened to was a band called Big Thief from America. I really like them. It changes week by week and mood by
Yes.
mood. Today I listened to Iron and Wine. That was my morning music as I was kind of getting ready and writing out my schedule for the day.
Well, looking forward to your performance here in Brockville. All the best, okay?
Thanks, Doreen. Me too.
Take care.
See you October 21st.
Yes, it is. We're telling everybody. We're telling everyone.
Right.
Okay, bye.